Hi everyone, David Aragona and Mike Beer here, taking a look at the Wednesday race of the day. It is race 8 at Gulfstream Park. This is a starter optional claiming event. Horses that have raced for the $12,500 claiming tag at some point in the past 2 years, or horses in for the $20,000 optional claiming tag. This one carted at 1.16 miles on the Tapeta surface at Gulfstream Park. And Mike, as we throw up the field for this race, the horse on the outside, the number 8, Title Forces, has Irad Ortizabard, goes out for some strong connections, and just possesses form that kind of makes him a standout in this race if he's able to produce his best effort.
Yeah, it kind of looks like that the more you go through the competition for him, especially. You're right. He's got, he's got the IRAD factor and a really good trainer, but his credentials go beyond that. I mean, his races, his good races in particular, I think they just make him a lot better than these horses.
You'll notice that there are a pair of runners each for the Jose D'Angelo barn as well as for the Martin Drexler barn. So interested to see how those runners are ridden in this race and which runners do show some speed, because a few of them do possess tactical speed. And speaking of that, let's take a look at the Timeform US pace projector for this race. And I think those two runners from the Jose D'Angelo barn are going to be able to control the pace and really decide how quickly things proceed on the front end, Mike, because both of these horses want to be on the lead. It does feel like the number 4 KC Chief is just a little naturally quicker than its stablemate, though.
Yeah, I guess that's true. I mean, when I looked at it originally, I thought that maybe there was a little bit more pace than this, and things could get competitive up front. But you're right. I mean, two of the speed horses are out of the same barn here, so maybe one of them will take back, and we'll see if anybody else decides to get aggressive.
With this being the race of the day, do note you can get free past performances for this race on the race of the day page on DRF.com handicap with us using Classic, Formulator, or Timeform USPPs that you can access on the website. Let's go through this field in program number order, beginning with the number 1, Morgan Point. And, Mike, this horse came into pretty good form since being claimed for just $12,500 by these connections back in August of last year. The problem is all of that ascending form is on the dirt, and he's really unproven on the synthetic. He tried it one time much earlier in his career. Not a whole lot to write home about with that effort. He's a lot better now, but can he translate that form to the synth?
It's a major question. You're right. His recent form on dirt, if he can transfer it over to the surface, I think it makes him a contender. I also can envision a good trip coming for this horse. The flip side of that is I hate betting horses like this who are, pretty good on dirt and then switching over to the all-weather. Even if you want to say the only start on the surface was too long ago to really care about, he was terrible in that race.
The number 2 is Shankar, and I think you could say if he was coming into this race off the effort 3 back in his past performances, he'd be one of the favorites in here. The problem is his last 2 performances have been pretty disappointing. Lost as the 3 to 5 favorite 2 back at this level, and then last time just completely fell apart as the favorite once again. Was claimed away from Safi Joseph that day, now going into a lower percentage barn. So just not getting those positive vibes from this horse, Mike.
Yeah, can't take this horse off of what he's done in his last couple of starts. That effort 2 starts back where he was 3 to 5, just a less than compelling performance. He was even worse last time.
Number 3 is Navy Cross. And Mike, I think the best thing you can say about this horse is he might just be a lot better on synthetic than he is on dirt. And almost all of his recent form has come on the dirt, except for those 2 races where he tried the all-weather at Gulfstream Park back in January. He significantly outran his odds to be second to today's rival Title Forces at 44 to 1-3 back, and was facing maybe a slightly softer field 2 back, but still ran reasonably well to be a close 4th in there. He's going to have to do better than that to upset the favorite, but he could be a fair price.
Yeah, he was one of this was a race that I thought lacked sort of compelling longer prices. And maybe he's one of the horses, though, that I would try to get in there, maybe underneath the favorite in this race, because he did run well enough off the layoff, too, and that return to synthetic 3 starts back. I guess he ran fine last time, or 2 starts back, rather, a little bit wide around the track in there. There was nothing wrong with that performance. He'll have to do better than that in here. But I do think I thought there was enough pace in here, David, to maybe set up a late run from him.
Up next is the first of 2 for the Jose D'Angelo barn, the number 4, KC Chief. Let's take a look at his most recent start when he won a handicap event going 9 furlongs on synthetic. Got his preferred trip this day, was able to secure the front end, back down the pace a little bit down the back stretch, and then kicked away from this field late to hold his advantage to the wire. Mike, this horse knows how to win races. He won 4 in a row going back to the middle part of 2024. Yes, he lost to today's rival Title Forces and really was just no match for that foe when he faced faced him 2 back, but that was by far the worst performance that he's produced out of all of his recent form. And I think he's better than that. We'll just see how much pressure he gets on the front end.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, I agree with you. I think he is better than that. I guess for me, the flip side of it is he really was no match in there. Maybe he came out of that race with some kind of an excuse, but if he didn't, I don't really know what you're supposed to say about him having to face Tidal Forces again in this spot and perhaps some other pace pressure in this spot as well. And he's going to be probably the second choice in this race, David. So that performance, along with a shorter price on him, it just led me looking for other horses to try to use.
And then his stablemate drawn right to the outside, the number 5, Lord of War, also coming off a victory over the Tapeta surface at Gulfstream Park. We'll take a look at the replay of that race. And similar kind of trip that the horse we just talked about got, Mike, where he got to the front end, was able to set a more legitimate pace and then hold on through the lane. This was just a $10,000 claimer, though, and this horse was precipitously dropping in class coming into this race. He had shown some talent, going all the way back when he was in the Marcassi barn, when he was facing some tougher optional claiming rivals, even stakes horses in the past. And he's showed himself to be very capable over a synthetic surface. Just kind of wonder if he's going to be able to get back into better form off the claim for a new barn.
Yeah, that was my concern with him too. I mean, maybe just, off the claim for a good train or two, maybe the change of scenery here will just allow this horse to move forward one more time off of a win in that most recent start. I could go either way on him, David. I would just sort of wait and see what kind of price he is.
Mike, when I was handicapping this race, I kind of wanted to get interested in the number 6 Soulmate when I watched his last race, because as I'm sure you saw, he just got a nightmare of a trip in there, just steadied badly into the clubhouse turn. I think even worse than the trouble line might suggest, was just had no chance after that, and actually was running on a little bit at the end. That was a turf race. But when I pick through his synthetic form, he's only either sprinted or gone 1.5 miles in his recent races on the synth. And we know this horse from back in his days in New York. He's kind of best as a miler. So maybe this is the kind of spot he's supposed to be in on the synth. I just wonder if he classes up with these.
Yeah, I have the same concerns, but I don't really want to add anything to your analysis of him, because I thought all the same things, David. I feel like there's a chance that he's just in the really good spot here and at the right distance, and maybe he just won't take that much money in here. He did have real trouble last time. One of the horses that I'll try to use with the favorite.
Wonder what you make of the other Martin Drexler horse in here, Media Sensation, drawn to his outside. He's coming off a decent effort where he was third against $20,000 claimers on the turf, got a pretty good trip in there. His prior synthetic form, he wasn't as good as Soulmate, but that was going 1.5 miles too back. And his form prior to that, Mike, it's just a little up and down. And he's another one where I wonder if he really classes up with this field.
Yeah, that was my takeaway from him too. I really searched pretty hard for the race that sort of I thought could make him really competitive in here, and I'm really not sure that I found it.
And then rounding out the field is that likely favorite, the number 8 Tidal Force. Let's take a look at the replay of that race he won 2 back, where he defeated Navy Cross, who was such a big price that day, running on for second. But, as you were alluding to earlier, Mike, Tidal Forces went after KC Chief on the front end. It's not like he sat in a passive role. He really took a shot at that horse at the half-mile pole, put him away, and then just easily holds off everybody else at the same level that he's coming back to compete at here. And, the horses that he faced last time are just so much better than this. Right. So I'm not that concerned about the fact that he lost his last race. He just feels like he's getting back into the right spot.
Yeah, there's just so much to like about this horse. Again, if it just feels like if he just shows up and just runs his good race, I just think he's better than these horses. He proved that 2 starts back. He actually ran well last time against a field that's miles better than this one.
Let's throw up our picks for this Wednesday race of the day, and I think we're both going to chalk out with the number 8 Tidal Forces on top. I tried and tried, Mike. I just couldn't find any other horse that got me interested in betting him.
Yeah, me either. I won't take any other horses on top in this race. I just tried to avoid the other morning line favorite, KC Chief. I'll just leave him out and try to beat him out of the exacta.
Maybe we could get that horse that's double digits on the morning line, the number 3 Navy Cross, in there somewhere underneath our top pick. Tidal Forces in the Wednesday race of the day, race 8 at Gulfstream Park. Good luck if you're playing the races later this week.